how Nicki engages with technology and recording equipment and the whole glitching thing.
Then say, cup, 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 off, 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 cup, 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 off, 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 cup, 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 off, 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 cup, 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 off, off, off.
You know, translates very physically for me. The trying to lift something and not being able to lift it, the trying to push something, not being able to push it, being breathless and not being able to catch your breath, all of those kind of things of the human body not quite being able to achieve something. That's how kind of the work translated for me.
Oh, how do you solve a problem like Maria?
So Nicole Lisée's Malfunctionlieder is up there with one of the most challenging works I've done. And I've done some crazy pieces, like I have learnt to box for a piece before and spent 3 months in the gym like 10 times a week for a piece, which I think is great though, because I'm always asking people to step outside of their comfort zone for me. So I should definitely do the same the other way. I mean, the most fascinating thing for me was, obviously I felt very much from Nicki's aesthetic that, you know, she's playing with the malfunctioning of technology, but then to be able to achieve that in performance, there has to be a level of perfection in performance that is then able to communicate the malfunctioning. So it was interesting for me because there were inevitably parts of it. For me, I actually had to go back to the drawing board a bit. I mean, obviously it was a very difficult learn, but I think it'd be a very difficult learn for most people. I don't think it's an easy piece for anyone, particularly because of having a click track. And that was a really interesting process for me because I've never ever performed with a click track before. I really like to be able to live in the moment as a performer, so that was a really interesting kind of battle for me. I like to have the freedom to be able to kind of follow an impulse a little bit in performance, which is not necessarily possible in Nicki's piece so much. I also have to stay true to myself as a performer and the kind of performer that I am, and I don't hide at all what kind of performer I am. So I know as soon as I get on stage, that's it. It's like a switch goes in my head and I can't do anything but just live in like the very, very immediate moment. And so it was interesting to do this project because obviously in some ways it goes against what I am as a performer, but I think that's kind of interesting for Nicki and me to go into a realm that is kind of a little bit uncomfortable for me, but for her to experience it from a different approach and for her to kind of get a different idea of how it would be performed by someone like me. So I mean, it was an absolute pleasure learning it, and I am going to continue working on it, explore it a lot more and find ways to add more performative elements to it, I think, because I think it could be a piece that sits really well in my rep. So that's pretty exciting.
Yes, I know that!
Shall we continue?